The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There's an unbelievable story. Rabbi Yechiel Spiro brings this down in his book, that one of his students in yeshiva in Baltimore said over this story, told him this story. Is Hashem waiting for us? Is Hashem opening doors for us? We should be embarrassed to ask that question. If we would see how much Hashem is, if we would see what Hashem's doing. This boy related that his grandfather got remarried after his grandmother passed away to this woman named Penina. And they were in Baltimore. They would go to shul, and this woman, Penina, would go to the Ezras Nashim. And she would be there frequently, and she started to notice that every time she would show up, there was a pair of tefillin that was sitting there. And it was never being touched, it was never being moved. She realized, obviously, somebody lost their tefillin. A mitzvah that every boy above bar mitzvah puts on every day except for Shabbos and holidays. If it hasn't moved, somebody must have lost it. So she put up a sign in the shul. Does anybody know whose tefillin these are? She got called. Yes, I recognize those tefillin. They belong to the child of a neighbor of ours. But that neighbor no longer lives here in Baltimore. They moved to Israel 5 years ago. But here's their number. Great. Penina is very excited. She can find the owner and return these tefillin. She calls the number. It rings. It goes to the machine. She tells them, I found tefillin. Please call me back. A couple minutes later, she gets a phone call. It's the mother on the other line. Penina says to this woman, hi, you don't know who I am, but I've been in Baltimore and I've noticed lying around a pair of tefillin that seem to have your son's name on it. Is your son missing his tefillin? Because I found them. And the woman on the other side starts sobbing. She's crying. And then with choked voice, she says, unfortunately, 5 years ago, my son started to become disconnected with Judaism. And he stopped putting on his tefillin. He stopped for 5 years. He hasn't been connected, hasn't put on tefillin. But just today, I got a call out of the blue. I haven't been in touch with him. Our relationship has suffered. But I got a call from him today. And he told me, Mommy, I've started to attend some classes, some shiurim. And it's making an impact. And I want to start to turn my life around and get back on track. And I want to start putting on tefillin again. Mommy, do you know where my tefillin are? And this woman says, while I was on the phone with him, you called in. While I was on the phone with him, you called in, saying that you have his tefillin. A boy for 5 years turns his back on Hashem. For 5 years he abandons his tefillin across the ocean. But the day he decides, Mommy, do you know where my tefillin are? I want to start again. I want to reconnect. But where could they possibly be? Hashem already sent the tefillin right to him. And while he's asking the question, Hashem has a woman from Baltimore calling in with the answer. B'ni b'choyri Yisrael. Any one of us that wakes up and says, I want to start, but Abba, Hashem, Daddy, where are my tefillin? Where's my soul? How do I start again? How do I become elevated? How do I become close to you? Where is my holiness? Then you get ready, because that phone is going to ring and Hashem is going to be on the other side, returning it right back to you.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org